Hello, my name is Brianna Castro, and for my historical outing presentation, I will be doing it on the Hearst Ranch, which is located in West Covina, California. The Hearst Ranch motto is to preserve the past, harvest the present, plant seed for the future. In 1898, the Hearst family moved to Whittier, California from Dover, Ohio. The Hearst family consisted of Josiah Newell, Annabelle, his wife, and their three children, Allie, Harriet, and Maud. In 1906, the Hearst family bought 50 acres on the corner of Orange and Merced in West Covina. These 50 acres became the Hearst Ranch headquarters, eventually ran by Maud and her husband, Charles Josiah. They both lived there, and their two kids, Annabelle, who was born in 1913, and their son, Charles Josiah Jr., in 1914. Annabelle and Charles both lived very prosperous lives on the ranch. They both um, attended and completed grammar school and high school, and Annabelle eventually graduated from Pomona College, and Charles Josiah Jr. graduated from USC. Annabelle and her husband Sanford and Joe and his wife Ruth expanded Hearst Ranch in 1930 to 1950. Their first primary crop was walnuts. They grew these for the Blue Diamond label from 1919 to 1929. Their next primary crop was oranges, which they grew for Sunkist through 1930 through 1950. They also grew things like potatoes, beans, cucumbers, onions, cabbages, cauliflower, and carrots. They had over 70 acres of oranges and 70 acres of seasonal crops, which equals over to 140 acres. In the 1950s, the area began to develop more into housing and family areas, and the Hearst family moved the operation to the San Joaquin Valley. As you can see here, the San Joaquin Valley is right about here. And then you can see here that the pink areas are what was left of ranch land in the 1950s, and you can see most of it was turned into developments. Today, the Hearst Ranch is used mostly for educational purposes such as field trips, and it is used as a rental facility for parties and weddings. Here's an overview of their field trips and what basically goes on and what the criteria is. Their field trips are all ages welcomed. The students get to take a glimpse at early 20th century life. The cost is $5 a student. And here are two links for the field trip flyers. The top one is for field trips kindergarten through third, and the below is for field trips for fourth graders. On these field trips, students will get to experience looking at a crop field, a hay wagon. They get to visit a general store and the barn. They also get to learn and use what tools were used during early 20th century farming. They get to learn about Farmer George and his walnuts and meet Cowboy Larry and learn about their tools and the job. The fourth graders get to discover gold panning, brands and logo design, and Native American history. Now that you have learned a little bit about, here is my timeline of history starting in 1898 through present. First, here I started in 1906 since that was when the Hearst Family Ranch was established. And then I have, in worldly news, I have 1906, the first Ford Model T was produced. Then I continue on to 1923, when I have West Covina is incorporated as a city. Then I have 1923, Hollywood sign is built. In 1950, in community news, the Hearst Family Ranch moved its operation to the San Joaquin Valley. In 1950, in the world timeline, I have Disney produces and releases Cinderella. In 1950 and 1960, in the community timeline, I have West Covina population grows from 1,549 people to 50,000 citizens. In 1960, in the world timeline, I have the Greensboro sit-in takes place. In 1969, on the world timeline, I have the Jackson 5 debut. In 1969, in the community timeline, I have the West Covina Police Station and City Hall were built. In 1974, in the community timeline, I have Charles Garfield found Shanty Project to help with the homeless population. In 1974, in the world timeline, I have future President Clinton loses the congressional race. In 1997, I turned to California news because there wasn't a lot happening, and I have Clinton was elected president and Google is created. In 2004, in community timeline, I have the Parkfield earthquake and the death of Ronald Reagan. And then in the world timeline, I have Facebook is released and Firefox is released. In 2007, in the California timeline, I have wildfire breaks out in California and forces 500,000 citizens to evacuate. In 2007, in the world timeline, I have the iPhone is revealed. Continuing my timeline onto the next slide, in 2011, in California timeline, I have 5 more events, starting with Jerry Brown elected governor. Blackouts in California, Mexico, and Arizona affect 5 million people. Illegal immigrants allowed to receive state aid for college. Steve Jobs dies. And demonstrators shut down Port of Oakland. In national news, I have 2011, floods and landslides kill over 500 in Brazil. In 2012, Whitney Houston dies. In 2013, the Boston Marathon bombing. In 2016, Donald Trump elected president. And in 2017, the Las Vegas mass shooting, which was, as of date, the largest shooting in history. This presentation was created by Brianna Castro. Here are my resources. I used 5 different websites and the actual location of the Hearst Ranch, location 1227 South Orange Avenue, West Covina, California, 91790. The contact number for field trips is 626-991-9694. The contact number for party rentals 626-813-0116. This has been my presentation on the Hearst Ranch. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, the Hearst Ranch was a pivotal part of West Covina community history and continues to be an educational experience for all ages. I hope that for many generations to come, the Hearst Ranch continues to enlighten students of the early 20th century ways of farming and lifestyle, and that people continue to enjoy what it has to offer and cherish it as an historical place in the community. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. Hope you have a good day.